Hey there. Okay, so today we are taking a look at two model homes that David Weekley has here at Creekshaw. So they've got their 40-foot series here called the Gardens. And then we're also going to take a look at the Bluebonnet behind me. And that is a part of their classic series where those are on 50-foot wide lots. So let's go ahead and start with a look at the Heron on the 40-foot wide lot. So first, I love this walk up where you've got this nice long walkway and you don't just go straight to the front door. So immediately you walk in and you've got these great tall ceilings. And then over here to the left, we've got laundry, very similar to the Highland homes where the laundry's up front. This way it's kind of out of the way. And here we've got what would be the garage and then a little nook for your bags and shoes. And here's this space where you can make it a study or just an extra play area. And then we've got, hey there, got a bathroom here. Bedroom here. So we've got just enough space for a bed and two side tables and a little bit of a walk-in closet. Don't mind this green tape, they're doing a little bit of touch-up work. I love these stairs. Like, this is a look I actually haven't seen before. Kind of a nice, neat, modern approach. So this floor plan kind of takes a different angle of the open floor plan layout with the way you've got the kitchen over here. Tons of cabinets. I like the two-tone cabinets that they have. And then this would be your pantry over here. So you see it's a bit of a walk-in, which is nice. But you also have space for your dining over here. You see this table seats 8, so it's nice to know you have that space. This is kind of, I will say this is a bit of a narrow table for a dining table. And so that would be something you might have an extra inch or two on either side if you wanted a slightly wider table, but it wouldn't go too much wider than that. And then here you have the living room. And I think if you even wanted some extra seating, you could put a couple of chairs right here, or even like now we see a lot of those like stools that you could put, like the small, you could use it as an ottoman or just to sit on. The stools could go right here. But this is nice. And you've got the big vaulted ceiling here. And here we go into the primary. And then here is this huge shower here. Now this is one of the things, this is one of the options you can put in if you're building. This is something that David Weekley it's one of these things that people think is like a big upgrade, but it's actually not. This is just a really nice feature to have kind of this open shower here. Now you don't have a tub, that is the trade-off, but it is such a big shower. And then here you've got your vanity, and then an extra, let's see, you've got your commode with storage over the commode, which is nice to have. And then here you have your closet with some extra built-ins. Here, while we're down here, let's go ahead and take a look outside so you can see the patio, kind of what you get for this space. Now Now some of this is a little extra, like with the landscaping back here, but you can see here's what you would get with this 40-foot wide lot, is you still have a little bit of yard space and then some patio. Oh, and then actually I'm gonna back up here and make sure you saw that this, like upstairs, looks over. There's a nice little game area, a playroom for the kids. Got some storage. Here's one bedroom. Now this is actually a really nicely sized secondary bedroom. And here you've got a walk-in closet. And then this is the bathroom. The upstairs bedroom share. And then here's the other bedroom up here, a little smaller than the other bedroom that's up here. And then this closet has the double doors, which I appreciate when these closets have the double doors and not just one door that you have to reach all the way on either side to get to your things. So this is a look at the upstairs, and here's what you see down below. This is kind of a look up here. Now let's take a walk through the Bluebonnet. Again, this is on the 50-foot wide lots. This is one of the floor plans available. All right, and when we walk in, kind of like the other floor plan, you have this open area that you can use for an office. And then here you've got the laundry that's set at the front of the house to, again, kind of keep it out of the way of everything and just close that door. It looks like storage. And this is the sales office. It'll eventually be your garage, so forget that's there. And then here we have a much larger kitchen. And we can see they've got the uppers installed here, which is really nice. And this one has the upgraded package where you've got your separate oven from your cooktop over here and your vent hood. And this island is a very generous size. Now let's go across the way over here, and you can see here's a little mud room. You can put your bags and shoes, and that would be your door to the garage. So you would have this as all a solid wall over here. Now again, kind of like the other floor plan, this feels a lot like the other floor plan, just much larger and grander in scale. And I like how they've kind of done the different approach, because sometimes you'll have where it's like kitchen, dining, living, or living, dining, kitchen, where it's just kind of like all straight back. They've kind of approached it where you've got kind of different areas and it's still nice and open, but this dining area is really large. And then you've got a much larger living room also But again, if you were entertaining, nobody's left out, everybody's included. And something that David Weekley, I think, puts a lot of thought into is kind of their positioning of the windows. Like here, whereas you could have the windows go lower, and some would say, hey, they would really like that. But when they're a little higher, it allows you to do like what they've done here, put some furniture closer to the back, so you can use that space along the wall a little more. Now let's go take a look at this area. So this floor plan, you get a little room in between the bedrooms, kind of like a play area or another office space if you needed it. And then here's one bedroom over here. And here is something I want to point out. Now, David Weekley does this in their models where they kind of show you a look behind the wall and to see what you're going to get. So this is something that they do standard with their construction. Now, this price point in Creekshaw is one of the best price points for David Weekley Homes in the DFW Metroplex. And what's nice about that is you get their same quality of build, regardless of the fact it is one of the best price points that they have. So they build with 2x6 studs instead of 2x4s that you have here in like the traditional. And then what that means though is when they bring in the insulation, you have more insulation in your walls. And this helps with sound. The big deal though is with the energy efficiency. So that's one thing, if like being energy efficient is really important to you, and stuff like this is what helps with your bills, because in our Texas summers where it gets so hot, this is the kind of stuff that matters. And so that's one thing that I love about what David Weekley does is they put all of this insulation in. So I think it's about 20% more, you're 20% more insulated with this on these 2x6s than with what you would normally get on a 2x4. So kind of an interesting little thing that they do that really helps set them apart. And then here, again, back to the middle room, and then you've got another bedroom over here. Now this is a design feature that I would not have thought to do. Kind of neat, obviously not standard, but I love when designers come into these models and do some of these wild things that they do. And then here's the bathroom that these bedrooms would share. All right, now let's go take a look at the primary suite, tucked back here in the back of the home. So here you also have that shower, where it's an oversized shower, and then your sinks. And then here is your closet space in here. So again, everything just a bigger scale from what you have in the 40-foot option. And then of course you've got your separate commode with storage above the commode, which is nice. Now, I don't know if you have noticed this as we've been walking through, but one of the nice things is the size of these doors. So these are 8-foot tall doors, which we're not seeing a lot at this price point. This is definitely a really nice feature to have. When you have these really tall doors, it just makes all the rooms feel larger and grander, and it's just such a nice upgrade to have. All right, let's take a look at the back. Now this floor plan is really nice because it does offer a much larger patio. And you can see over here. And again, this is extra, the landscaping along the back fence line, but still nice to see what's possible. All right, and here's another look at the inside. And a lot of this is possible with these heights of the ceilings and the doors and everything, because like this floor plan is a single story. So when you have that, a lot of times builders are able to push the ceiling heights even higher, and it just helps make the home feel so much more grand. All right, now let's sit down and let's talk a little bit more about David Weekley. First of all, if you don't know much about David Weekley, they are a national privately held builder. They are in 13 different states, and they have actually been in business for 50 years now. And I'm starting to see some incentives come about because of their 50-year anniversary. So you might keep an eye on those and see if there's something that that comes out that might benefit you. And we'll talk more about incentives in a minute. And they are actively selling in 68 communities in Dallas-Fort Worth right now. And if you remember when we were doing a walkthrough, I mentioned that this is one of their best price points in all of Dallas-Fort Worth. So when you buy here, you get the David Weekley quality, but again, at a really great price point. Now, they have two different types of series here. They have the Garden Series and the Classic Series. And as we've mentioned, or as I've mentioned, the Garden Series is going to be on 40-foot wide lots, and the Classic Series is going to be on 50-foot wide lots. The Garden Series, their base model is going to start at $299,990 and go up to $365,999. Now that's the base. So you start adding on different changes, different structural changes, those prices will definitely go up. And then in the Classic Series, their base price starts at $344,990 and goes up to $418,990. Now, yes, you can build here. You can find your lot and pick your plan and build on it, and then go to the design center and make all your selections. So they do have that availability. Your sizes in the gardens are going to start at 1,543 square feet and then go up to 2,632 square feet. And then in the larger Classic Series, your floor plans start at 2,052 square feet and go up to 3,259 square feet. Now, a lot of people want to know, are there options for a 3-car garage? Because we all have extra stuff we like to store somewhere. In the Garden Series, they do not have a 3-car garage option, but here in Creekshaw, David Weekley does have a 3-car option in the Classic Series, if that's important to you. Now, if you do decide to build from the ground up, your build time is going to be about 6 months. And right now, we're recording this in February. And so we're about to get into the spring, which that can throw a kink in plans. If we just get tons of rain, that can sometimes push the timeline back, but they're pretty good about sticking around that 6-month timeline from when you contract on the property. And as far as pricing goes in the design center, they expect that you're probably going to spend about 5 to 10% more on the base price of the house in the design center. So keep that in mind. And actually, this neighborhood, they've done such a good job of speccing out the homes that they build and the design selections that they've put in those. They sell far more spec homes here in this neighborhood than they do of people coming in and buying the dirt and building from the ground up. And I just think that says a lot about kind of the way they have everything looking, because when you go in and you have to make all those decisions yourself, it can be overwhelming. But they've done such a good job with the design selections that it's really easy to walk into these spec homes that they have and go, oh yeah, this is a no-brainer. I'll just take this. So I think that speaks a lot for them in their design sense. David Weekley does offer a 1-2-10 warranty. And so it's going to be 1 year, kind of your bumper to bumper warranty. And of course, it doesn't cover like wear and tear stuff. Like if you move in and you drop a box into a wall and it creates a big dent, well, they're not going to cover that. But if it's something like an actual issue that is a problem from construction, they'll come in and fix that. And then the 2 year is going to be on your major structure or major components of the home, like electrical, plumbing, HVAC, appliances, things like that. And a lot of times those appliance warranties are covered through the manufacturer. And then 10 year on your structural warranty. Now, one thing that David Weekley does like to make sure that people know is that they keep their warranty in-house. And so that way they are incentivized to, first of all, build a really good home from the onset so that they're not having to keep calling their warranty department out, but also that the warranty department is very much incentivized to take care of warranty claims quickly and efficiently. And another thing that when you come and visit a David Weekley model that they will talk to you about is that they are very big on customer service, because so much of their sales and the way they're kind of, I don't know how you would say it, just like the way they are kind of graded for their sales. It's not so much the number of homes they sell, the number of homes they sell, but it's actually on the surveys that people fill out to when they have surveys at 4 different parts of the process if you're building a home. And so those surveys are so important. And the nice thing about that is then it means, you know, you're getting a really good customer service experience on the other side of that. So that is definitely one of the pitches that they have about setting themselves apart. Now, as far as incentives go, of course, with every video, I'm going to say they're going to change month to month. And right now in Creekshaw, David Weekley is offering some really strong incentives. And kind of the headline incentive is a 3.99% fixed rate. And right now at the recording of this video, rates are at 5.99. They may have jumped up a tiny bit to 6.01. So getting a rate at 3.99% is pretty impressive. Now, what that means is there's wiggle room with the money that they would use to buy down that rate. So maybe you don't need the rate to be 3.99%. Maybe you need some more money for closing costs, or maybe you want the rate bought down some and you want to use more for closing costs. So having that big of a rate drop means that there's ways you can play with that money to get the numbers where you need them. So a lot of people walk in and kind of the most important thing is having a monthly payment that they don't want to go above. And one of the things that I like about like here, when you have that kind of flexibility with those incentives, is that you can walk in and say, hey, my monthly payment, I can't pay more than $2,500 a month, or I don't want to pay more than $2,500 a month. Well, then you can bring that in and then they'll work with you on the pricing of, okay, well, do we need to buy the interest rate down? Do we need to bring the price down so you're not borrowing as much? How do we need to play with these numbers so that it makes sense for you? So that is a really nice thing that you can get when coming into a home like this. So some of the standout features that I want to make sure to mention about David Weekley is, and I've mentioned it a few times, is that they're one of the few production builders that have those two by 6 walls and have that extra insulation. And again, at this price point, that's a really good thing to have. And it gives you more insulation and just, again, more, it makes the home more quiet too. And their style, I don't know if you noticed when we were walking around, their style is a little more timeless and clean. It's more transitional with today and less traditional. And so the way they have everything finished out, it's something that will look good today, but also will stand the test of time. So I like that they've done that, and it's not so, they haven't gone so trendy that it looks great, but we're not so sure if that look is going to carry on. And some of the surprising standard features that people think are extra, but that actually come with the home. And this is going to sound so minor, but I'm going to tell you, it makes such a big difference. It's the baseboards. So their baseboards are, I think, is it 5.25 inch? And that's a really generous size baseboard. And it is such a classy look. And that's not an upgrade. That just comes standard with the home. And then they also have things like R22 insulation, which is kind of a fancy word. And, you know, what do you have to compare that to? But it's a really good level of insulation. And with energy efficiency and these high bills that we get for electricity, that's something that's really nice to have. And they also have that super shower that is not an upgrade. That is standard. So kind of having that oversized shower with, you know, the extra tile and everything, that's part of the home if you want it. And when we look at the spec homes that they currently have, it's really nice. They do have really good price points going on right now. And again, this is February of 2026. when I'm recording this. So if you're watching this much later, these prices and these homes probably still won't be available. But feel free to reach out and ask what is available because it changes all the time. And there's also inventory that you won't see listed on the builder website or the MLS. So we have access to all that off-market inventory. So always be sure to reach out to us and let us know. And you can always go to livinginrockwall.com/Creekshaw to get in touch with us and see more about the neighborhood. But going back to the model homes that they have, or I'm sorry, the spec homes that they have, right now in the Garden Series, they have homes starting as low as $339,990, and they go up to $399,990, so just under $400,000. And then in the Classics, they have homes starting at $369,990, and that'll get you a 2,063 square foot home, a 3-bed, 2-bath home. And then prices go up to $429,990, and that'll get you a 2,989 square foot home. And that one's 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. So some really great price points here. And I would highly recommend coming and taking a look if this is a price point that you've been considering. And hey, if we have not met yet, I am Jennifer Templeton. I'm a realtor and broker associate with the Crested Group at Keller Williams Rockwall. And I actually used to work on the builder side of the transaction table. Yep, I represented them. I worked in sales and marketing. So I use the knowledge that I learned from all those years working on the builder side, and I now leverage that for the benefit of my buyer clients. And our team has learned from that too, and we all use that to the benefit of our buyers. So if you're watching this video and you're considering a move to Rockwall County, or you're considering buying new construction in Rockwall County, let's talk. You can scan the QR code and schedule some time on my calendar, or you can go to livinginrockwall.com/Creekshaw, get more information on this neighborhood, and there's a bunch of buttons there to reach out to me or the team, and we would love to set up a Zoom call with you and talk about next steps. Well, be sure to stick around, watch more videos that we have here on Creekshaw where we talk about all the different builders here, give you that neighborhood tour, and then we also got some information on the schools here in Creekshaw. So stick around, take a look at those, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.